Okay, so today we're going to be reacting to a video from Dent titled Gabbie Hanna Tried to Ruin My Life. I have proof. I saw this last night and I've been eager to watch it and I wanted to pull it up and watch it with you guys. This is, I believe, partially surrounding a situation that has been evolving for a while, but also was catapulted by this ex Gabbie Hanna fan. Her name is Alyssa Perrine. I believe she goes by she. Is it she or they? Maybe I should be sure before I speak. It does not say, so I'm just gonna go with they. We'll go with they. So Alyssa here in this video, they talk about how their experience within the Gabbie Hanna fandom. And I do not have a ton of experience with these fandoms. I was never on Twitter growing up. I only got a Twitter account when I started this channel to go along with it. But other than that, I've never really been on Twitter. I was on Tumblr, but I was more like a interloper in fandoms whenever I would like dabble in them. But I was never like a dedicated I was never part of a dedicated fandom or anything. I was usually just somebody who watched YouTube or scrolled Tumblr. Like it was never really like my thing to be in these fandoms. So I'm not totally well versed in how they work. One of my hyper fixations as an adult has been uh, cults and how cults operate and how their programming works, and mainly because I, as in my experience of being narcissistically abused, I relate a lot to members of cults, and because a cult mainly is narcissistic abuse on a mass scale. I mean, look at what Donald Trump is doing to like the world. We're all being narcissistically abused right now. But usually cults revolve around a narcissistic figure. And the way that Alyssa talked in this video, a few things struck me. Um, Alyssa does not take any accountability in this video, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of shame tied to Alyssa's actions in the way that they speak. Um, it felt very wooden, and obviously it's scripted, so that's something to keep in mind. You can sound wooden when you're reading a script, maybe not comfortable on camera, whatever. But another thing that struck me was the fact that it was very clearly written by AI, and which is in itself not a bad thing, I guess, but it was very like if you know the AI isms, it was written by AI. And I'm not saying that she didn't write out all of the information and then just got ChatGPT to like write the script, maybe. I'm not sure. But it was written by AI, and that struck me as well. The accountability that Alyssa takes in this video is always a we. It's never an I. And I actually looked through the transcript, and I'll put timestamps in the description. So if you don't want, if you're already caught up on a lot of this, then you can skip to the Gen Dent video. And we're also, before we even react to the Gen Dent video, I want to react to this video from HelloLeesh that says, the title is Gabbie Hanna X-Fan Alyssa Perrine is the worst and takes zero accountability, leaving the Gabbie Hanna fandom. And this was posted 2 weeks ago. Full transparency, I have seen this video because I think it was like a few days after it posted because it was suggested to me. And, but I do want to elevate her story and how she feels about Alyssa as one of the people that was harassed by the Gabbie Hanna fandom, and specifically Alyssa. So I want to, like I said, I want to elevate her story, and we're going to react to that after before we react to Jen's video that's about Gabbie Hanna. And I do believe Alyssa is a big part of this video as well. I just went through the description, and there's a lot of links in the video. She talks about the HelloLeesh video. Then she talks about, there's an Alyssa Perrine video that says Dent doxed me. Dent doxed me part 2. Alyssa Perrine original song, Bloom, explicit. Gabbie Hanna lost tapes, The Gabby Show, blah, blah, blah. So, and then there's an editor's note that says, fuck you, Gabby, which I love. I love an editor who will stick up for their creator. That's great. So, wrong one. So, I went through this transcript and I searched up the word I, or the letter or whatever, the word I. And I'll just go through it. But I don't think we talk. I remember I told myself, I know for me, I didn't, because I cared more about staying in her orbit than saying what I actually thought. I know this sounds not important. I tried not to think about it too much. But when I went back and reread blah, 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 but I am saying the way it was. And I think that's the first time I really realized I thought it was excessive. I felt slighted by Rachel. I just hate the way Gabby put a bad taste in my mouth when I hadn't even watched her videos. I still haven't to this day. I might have really liked them. I don't know. I know my room's a mess, but I'm oh, I wasn't gonna mention it. I'm type A, so anyways, yeah. But I'm a book person. I love books, so I would love Rachel's content, and I think that's the part that bothers me. But when I step back and look at it, I can't even begin to put into words. I went my entire fandom life not knowing. Do you know how jealous I would have been? I should not be jealous of that. I don't need to reiterate, so many of us were young. Another thing that bothers me about this video is that she's very unclear about her age. Her age at the time a lot of this was going on was 18. In this video, a lot of people took from it that she is 18 now. That's not true. When all of this was going on, she was 18. It's been years and years since then. So she was an adult when a lot of this was happening, and well, legally an adult, and she's an adult now. She's been an adult for a while. She was not a minor in this fandom, because the way she made it sound was like that she's 18 now, and at the time she would have been like 12, 13. Not the case. She was an adult. So that also bothered me. Because she says here, the friend I know now at 18 joined the fandom at 12. A lot of people feel that, or thought that she meant like she knows them now when she's 18, but she knows that friend who is 18 now and joined the fandom at 12. Not her. So she might have joined at 12, but or Alyssa, I'm not sure what Alyssa goes by. So forgive me if I accidentally slip up. The friend I know now at 18 joined the fandom at 12. For people, where does he? And I think the clearest example of all of this, I didn't see it at the time. I just thought people were closer to her. I'm like, I can go through the whole freaking thing, but not one time was it like ever taking accountability with there was a lot of, we did this to defend her, we did that, but what she also doesn't really make clear is that she was the main ringleader of a lot of the harassment that this fandom led. And I take issue with a lot of this. Like, I have listened to a lot of cult survivors' stories, and they have a lot of shame tied to what went on and what happened. And there wasn't a lot of emotion in this video, and it's scripted, so who knows? But it was just something I noticed. Like, it, and then there's also this part.
To grow and then nothing changes, you just stop showing up. The hardest part about this is realizing how long I stayed. How many times something didn't sit right with me and I still found a way to explain it. How many times I chose to defend someone instead of listening to my own instincts. I wasn't just watching it, I was a part of it. I helped defend her. I participated in a space that, looking back, wasn't healthy for me or the people around me. I lost 70 pounds and developed a stress ulcer from the emotional turmoil of all of this. I had a CPTSD response to being doxxed and harassed by literal YouTubers. Why was Cody Rance making videos about me when I was the one getting doxxed and harassed? Cody Rance, you know, they're children. And I don't think that makes me a bad person. I just think I have to be honest about it.
So there she talks about some accountability, and it is very esoteric. She doesn't really go into a lot of specifics when talking about the fandom's behavior or her behavior. She doesn't really talk about her behavior that much at all. It's more of a like, we did this for Gabby. We defended Gabby. It was not healthy. Blah blah blah. Being this, as you just saw, which I commend her for taking some accountability in this. But let's go to the comments, shall we? Because these are not scripted. So, oh, Alyssa. This is from somebody, I'm not sure. I think it's just a random commenter. Oh, Alyssa, we were there. We remember what happened with Jen. We remember how involved you were. So this is what Alyssa has to say in response. I'm not sure how much of it's true. And also, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not really aware. I don't know HelloLeesh or Dent. I know the names because I have become a very big fan of the Do We Know Them podcast with Jessi Smiles and Lily Marston. But I came to that podcast as a fan of Lily, not Jessi. So I'm not super aware of these people. I know a lot of the bigger stuff that happened between Gabby and Jessi, but I really have only heard Jessi bring up the names. I don't really know much about them. So this is what Alyssa has to say to this comment, saying we remember what you did to Jen Dent, what happened with Jen. She says involved ... in the person who doxed me, harassed me, lied about sending me legal papers, someone who told a rape survivor that she's worthless for leaving her abuser and that she didn't care that she was a rape survivor, she'll harass her anyway. Honey, the videos are still public about what she did to us. You can't hide behind your vagueness anymore. We all know the truth about your evil little group of friends. So it's striking that she's still parroting a lot of the talking points, seemingly, of this fandom of Gabby, and this just left a really bad taste in my mouth. I didn't like it. Anyways, I'm sure we'll get into it within Jen's video. There's more. So there's another comment in this comment section, specifically from one Cody Rants, now going by Cody Reads, which, right message, wrong messenger. Cody, go to your corner of the internet and shut the fuck up. Like, just please, I understand what you're doing is most likely virtuous in this instant, but maybe just no. No. So Cody Reeds says, really interesting that I do not see Jen Dent's comment. You remember her, right? The woman you accused of assault with no evidence. And then people got mad at Cody for showing up. And so did you ever get the laptop? Just curious. Stop. Okay, not the point. So Rapine, sorry. Alyssa Perrine writes back. Mind you, aren't you the person who lied about a sexual assault survivor and tried to tell their story for them? Explains a lot because Jen Dent harassed rape survivors and tells them that she doesn't care that they were raped. She's going to harass them anyway. Not to mention doxed Gabby's email. So you're still defending Gabby? This was 2 weeks ago, right after she posted this video. Interesting. Not to mention doxed Gabby's email address to her fan base when she shouldn't have been talking to us in the first place. Why do you think it's okay for a 50-year-old woman to contact minors? Why do you think it's okay for a 50-year-old woman to be sharing someone's rape story in DMs when it's not theirs to share? Why is she sharing Gabby's story of abuse to fans? Why is she calling the phone call napalm and treating a serious accusation as some method to take down Gabbie Hanna? Why was she in my personal DMs telling me, sorry, I never actually wanted to sue you. Do you want me to sing you music in my carpool karaoke? Why is Jen Dent? This is the comment that really, really struck me. Why is Jen Dent somehow an even worse person than Gabbie Hanna herself? That's a disgusting thing to say. I don't, like I said, I don't know Jen Dent very well, but I know Gabbie Hanna, and Gabbie Hanna's a very, very bad person. I don't think she deserves any type of redemption. I don't think she's a good person. Like I said, I don't. She's done so much and has. I have grown very defensive of Jessi Smiles over the years. I've grown to love her as I like her podcast, but her story is that's a different kind of. I get emotional. I feel bad. That's a different kind of violation to go through, and how Gabbie Hanna handled that situation always just made me like, Gabby, you're evil for this. Like, this is not, whether or not people are evil, I don't know, but that's an evil thing to do. And the way you have continued to harass Jessi Smiles all of these years, calling her your abuser? Are you fucking kidding me? The absolutely fucking disgusting. And this comment, why is Jen Dent somehow even worse than Gabbie Hanna herself? And all of this defense of Gabby kind of seems like you, like, it's annoying. It's annoying. And it paints the video in a different light. Because do you actually feel these words? Also, paired with the fact that it was written by AI, I'm just like, what's going on here? You don't take much of accountability. You're pretty wooden and emotionless through it. Like, unless you're being shady, it's And what I also find interesting is that uh, she even more downvoted. I'm guessing like it probably has more dislikes than Cody's original comment because it's below Cody's comment, and it says, "This is Alyssa's words, not mine." Reminder: Jen Dent is a rape apologist as well. Jen Dent harassed rape survivors and tells them that she doesn't care that they were raped. She's gonna harass them anyway. She keeps on. If this feels very familiar, the way it sounds is it sounds like H3 fans trying to pick and choose things without context to paint people in a bad light. And H3 fandom is also very similar to a cult. Not to mention doxed Gabby's email address to her fan base when she shouldn't have been talking to us in the first place. Why do you think it's okay for 50-year-old women to contact minors? Why do you think it's okay for a 50-year-old woman to share someone's rape story in DMs? Whose rape story? The publicly available story of Jessi? Uh, Jessi smiles. Jessi went to court. Like, that's public record. Boo. But I don't know. Okay. Sharing someone, unless it's not, and I'm just filling in the gaps. In DMs when it's not theirs to share. Why is she sharing Gabby's story of abuse to fans? What abuse? Why is she calling the phone call napalm and treating a serious accusation as some method? She just this is just the same thing. She will not be allowed in this comment section until she stops. She will not be allowed in this comment section until she stops mocking Middle Eastern people, rape survivors, and inserting herself into business where she doesn't belong. To Jen. Okay. This is insane. I didn't even see the end of this. Whoa. To Jen. This is from Alyssa, not her words, not mine, or their words, not mine. Alyssa's words, not mine. You are nothing. You don't get to use my video talking about my experience to shame someone else. You are, simply put, a horrible person who is going to be lonely for the rest of your life because you have to look on to someone who was freshly 18 while you were 47, showing me personal details of someone else's rape and abuse. Get a grip and seek therapy instead of constantly searching Gabbie Hanna's name. If I can get over it, so can your hag ass dumb hoe. Does that sound like somebody who's changed or regrets their actions or feels shame or even isn't really a fan of Gabbie Hanna anymore? Like, that's like, there's a comment under, if you're changing, bestie, I wouldn't have posted this. Just saying it shows very much that you haven't changed. Hello. You're just upping your game to be worse than Gabbie Hanna, and if that's the case, I hope the downfall hurts. I guess. Well, I'm not. She has. She just goes on and on. I really don't care at this point. Like, that last comment was absolutely fucking disgusting. Regardless of what happened, like, that was a gross fucking thing to say. What the fuck? That was gross. I'm gonna read it again for you. To Jen, you are nothing. You don't get to use my video talking about my experience to shame someone else. You're nothing? You are, simply put, a horrible person who is going to be lonely for the rest of your life because you have to hook on to someone who was freshly 18. That's an adult, sweetie. Like, I remember being freshly 18 and I wasn't harassing people online for someone else in the name of someone else. You also have to take accountability. Like, just because you were in a toxic fandom or a cult like structure, you were also a part of it. And You chose to be a part of it, and your actions within it are not like, yes, the buck stops with Gabbie Hanna. It's her fandom. People are doing this on her behalf. She is inciting it. But you also have to be cognizant of the fact that you have to be accountable for your actions. You cannot just place the entire blame on the creator when you are the one taking these actions. You chose this, baby girl. Like, it is not, I don't know what this is really weird energy, and I don't like it. Jesus Christ. Okay. You are, simply put, a horrible person who is going to be lonely for the rest of your life. Insane thing to say to somebody, because you have to hook on to someone who was freshly 18 while you were 47, showing you personal details of someone else's rape. Well, if you're harassing somebody based on some of these details, maybe showing you the full story was giving you context. And she even says in the video, which really annoyed me, because, like, I don't know a fandom that doesn't consume all the content that a creator would put out. Just not in my experience, really. She says, or Alyssa says in this video, that the fandom did not watch or listen to the 3-hour phone call. And that kind of struck me as weird. But okay, like, that phone call was insane. Show me personal details of someone else's rape and abuse. Get a grip and seek therapy, instead of constantly searching Gabbie Hanna's name. Dent was most likely sent this video, okay? If I can get over it, so can your hag ass, dumb hoe. If I can get over it, if I can get over what you did to Jen, like, I don't. Okay, this is really striking, huh? Okay. Jesus. So now we're gonna react to HelloLeesh's video.
Hi there. Trying to avoid the millennial pause, even though I am undoubtedly a millennial. This is probably going to be my most off-the-cuff video ever. Maybe not. And for reasons. You may have noticed that I came back to YouTube with the video a month or two ago, probably like 2 months ago. And I didn't mean to just like hit it and quit it. I actually really enjoyed coming back for that one video and thought, I might do this some more. And then, if you know, I got hit with like some serious life transitions, including being told that the apartment that I was living in was no longer going to be used as a rental. And so I had to basically move within 60 days. And so that has been going on for the past couple of months. I'm supposed to be painting my apartment right now, which is why I'm in a stained white hoodie. But I'm trying to make use of what daylight I have left so that I can just address this topic really quick. And I say really quick, that's not my thing. But I have a couple of notes.
Oh, not the point, but she's gorgeous, isn't she?
It's here just to kind of like keep myself on track and remember to say this or that. But I took no time to flesh this out. I'm just so incredibly irritated right now because I was having such a great weekend and was enjoying, putting my apartment together. And then started getting messages from a couple of creators about this situation where an ex-Gabby stan, Alyssa Perrine, who is going to probably say that I'm doxing them because I said their name, which is on their YouTube channel. And I will.
Is that what Alyssa meant by... Okay.
Be careful to use they, them pronouns when talking about Alyssa. Alyssa, I don't know if you have updated your pronouns since we had that interaction. but it is important to me that I use those pronouns while I don't know, and I will explain that why in a little bit. But yeah, basically I was alerted, that sounds dramatic, but I was made aware of the fact that Alyssa made a video about leaving the Gabby fandom just now, friend, just now in 2026. Really. Congrats. And to be honest with you, when I first saw that this was made, or I was first heard about this, I was like kind of excited to hear what Alyssa had to say. I was hopeful and I was ready to like extend my, I guess, like forgiveness and understanding and empathy and all of that, because typically when somebody says I left a fandom, I left a cult, I left this group, that whatever, it's typically with some form of responsibility for the harm that they caused as being a part of that group, right? That's typically what happens. And I will kind of address this at the end too, but kind of like when somebody leaves a cult. So I'll use that kind of language here and there.
I want to make it clear, like, I have all the empathy in the world for people who have gone through these types of cult-like mentalities or cult-like groups. And I don't think they're beyond reproach, but I do think that full accountability needs to be taken for your actions. Like, regardless of why you did it, you still did it. And you really need to own up to what you did as a part of that. Like, you cannot just erase the past and place full blame on the person leading it. It's also you. Like, why I have some issues with a lot of the celebrities who have left Scientology quietly. It is frustrating to me.
Done that.
But although I do understand why they do it with the disconnection policies, the cults and everything, but if anybody could do it, it would be people with a lot of prominence and money, and that's what frustrates me.
Referring to Alyssa in these comments and stuff, I'm so sorry if I'm all over the place. I've just been like putting novels on my IG stories. I want to stop that. But there was just, it was just funny watching Alyssa's video and comparing it to a recent video I saw, which was an interview with an ex-member of the Westboro Baptist Church. I swear I'm cooking here. I'm going somewhere with this. But something I noticed that was an important tenet of that interview was that the woman who was speaking about her experience with the Westboro Baptist Church is that she was very apologetic about the harm that she caused as part of that cult. And to the point that she cried, and she made the children she was speaking to cry by being very honest.
This is what I was talking about earlier, where I said, like, the members of these cult-like structures or groups often have a lot of shame tied to these actions and to what they did and how they see it. Like, how they can't understand how they saw it that way in the moment, but like that's what it kind of struck me in Alyssa's video, and I kind of tried to give Alyssa the leeway because it is scripted and who knows, but it did strike me.
And open about the things that she did that were harmful. Not so with Alyssa. So, you're going to have to really figure out, was I part of a cult? Was I doing damage? Whether you say it's in the name of Gabbie Hanna, I do think that a lot of it was in the name of just you and your friend group and in the name of yourself. I don't think it was all for Gabbie Hanna. Do I think that Gabby mobilized you guys to behave in certain ways to do her bidding? Absolutely. I do think that Gabby is responsible for kind of manipulating her fandom to behave in certain ways. I do pin that on Gabby, but at the same time, you're an adult. And I hear these things, especially with Adam McIntyre's video about the topic, like, oh, you seem so young, you seem baby, like, you don't know what you were doing, you didn't know what you were doing, you still don't, because you're so little and you're so young, you're such a baby. No, Alyssa,
I will say I watched Adam's video. I think due to Adam's experience, he has a lot more grace for situations like these. And granted, Alyssa does look young. I mean, she doesn't look exactly old. I mean, also, I don't know, her room isn't really giving how old she is, but that's a judgment, you know.
I dealt with this person 6 years ago, and they were an adult the entire time I dealt with them. As far as I know, they did not revert, drink from the fountain of youth or Benjamin Button their way into childhood while dealing with us. So, is there any sort of chronological order to this? I don't know. Basically, I was disappointed by Alyssa's video because of the kind of the kind of victim narrative that seems to have perpetuated, which is something that was characteristic of this person and their friends at the time that I was dealing with them around 2020 and 2021-ish. There was a lot of talk about how, it was like a toxic environment, it was a toxic fandom, and Gabby mobilized us, and it was unhealthy, and we wanted to defend her. That's something that Alyssa says a lot. Defend her, defend her, defend her. But not exactly saying, like, we bullied people on behalf of Gabby. I would accept that, even if it was all pinned on Gabby, but admitted to what they did, meaning bullied people, harassed people, committed actual crimes. That might require you incriminating yourself in a legal sense. So I don't think it's the right thing to do to avoid owning up to that, but I do see why people would do that. But there's no ownership of actual wrongdoing in this video. And after watching Alyssa's video, I turned on Adam McIntyre's video, and no hate to Adam overall, but I had to turn that video off after about 5 minutes because it was very much the old, like, oh baby, you're just a little tiny baby child and you don't know what you've done. It's kind of like, no, I'm not watching this. I was pleased to see that in the comments, a lot of people still remember Alyssa, because if you were there, you remember. Alyssa was the ringleader of the Gabbie Hanna stan cult, and I don't believe necessarily that all Gabbie Hanna fans and stans were that mean and criminal, to be honest with you. But those that were led by Alyssa at that time, until somebody by the name of Cade came along, I want to say. But it was like Alyssa was at the top. And then it was Alyssa and Skia, and I didn't even remember these people's names. I had to go and search in my some of my messages and just kind of glance at some of the conversations that I had with my friend Ambrin and other friends that I had at the time. But yeah, Alyssa, you were the top dog in this tandem. So like, I'm sure you can be really like proud of yourself for that, but also you need to take responsibility for all the damage you caused at the head of that tandem until Cade came along. And the only reason I say that is because that person that went by the name of Cade, which I've said his name three times now, so I'm going to resurrect him, but that person was a straight up sadist. Like, that person was like to a level that I can't even put Alyssa or Gabbie Hanna or anybody else that we know on the internet on that level. And he is the type of person that would probably take pride in the fact that he is remembered that way. Oh my gosh, I'm already at 9 minutes. Okay. But yeah, Alyssa was awful, just awful. And has not seemed to take any responsibility. I mentioned, Alyssa's pronouns and how it was important to me to use they, them pronouns. And that is because the first interaction that I remember having with this person, I responded to a tweet, and, I saw the name Alyssa. I said, she, this, that, the other, she, her. And then later came back and I saw that people were saying, hey, like, people are calling you a transphobe online. And I saw on Twitter that Alyssa was going the fuck off.
Okay, Lily Tino, like,
Calling me a transphobe because I misgendered them. And I was very confused at first. I was like, femme presenting person, feminine name.
this frustrates me so much because doing this does absolutely nothing to help trans folk. It does not. And an accidental, unintentional misgendering is not, where somebody does not know your gender, is not transphobic at all. Intentional misgendering, when somebody informs you of their pronouns and they refuse to stand by them, or refuse to repeat them, or refuse to just address you by your name, then that is transphobia. But to weaponize transphobia when somebody makes a mistake when they don't even know who you are is not helping any trans person anywhere. So it frustrates me a lot, and because, anyways,
like, I did I say he? Did I like? And then like part of what they had put out said was something like, it's in my bio. And I remember at the time being like, how pretentious and entitled do you have to be to think that everybody who responds to you is checking your bio and everybody else's bio that they respond to on Twitter before responding? But at the same time, one could make the argument that, especially at that time, like, if you didn't know somebody's pronouns, get in the habit of, saying they, them. So that said, like I said, one could make that argument and I accept it. So I issued an apology. I believe Alyssa demanded an apology, which I made very sincerely. I'm so sorry that I accidentally misgendered you. I absolutely did not mean to do that. My feelings about you in this fandom is not why that happened. That was just an honest mistake, and I'll be careful moving forward. Alyssa did not accept my apology and continued to brand me a transphobe. And I think that was calculated. At the same time, I'm not going to pretend that I deserve forgiveness by making an apology. That's not how apologies work in my world. So, if you want to say that I'm a transphobe because I don't, revert to saying
the equivalent of this, like socially, it's like you accidentally bumped into somebody and they wouldn't accept your apology for that. Like,
they, them, that's fine. If that's how your morals and ethics work, then stand by them. I do want to say, be careful though to the creators who are making videos on this topic that are saying she, her, because that's exactly what I did, and that's what branded me a transphobe by this fandom. Moving forward, again, that's not what matters to me. What matters is what happened after that. If you're unaware, sorry, we have some digbag drivers here in Savannah that love to make a lot of noise going down one of the main roads. There was a child that was kind of like orbiting the Gabbie Hanna fandom and then kind of in my audience at that time. And her name was Cassie, a trans kid. And I did check with Cassie before saying any of this because I wanted to make sure that, like, we've talked, I became friends with Cassie's mom at that time. She and I are close in age. And, just wanted to make sure that, like, I was helping her keep an eye on how people were talking to Cassie on the internet, which is like, argue whether or not I should have been doing that. I don't care. But Cassie is now 17, a trans girl who was a trans kid at the time, still a kid technically, but was 10, 11 years old around this time that we were dealing with Alyssa. And I'm, I don't know if Cassie told me at the time that this happened, But she told me today, and I'm like, are you absolutely positive that this happened? Because I can't believe it. I've said that, like, the things that Alyssa has done are so awful. I wish I could remember them all. My brain has become so scattered around COVID and starting my YouTube channel. Like, I can't remember jack shit, but I remember Alyssa. Cassie said that, you know, she said to me in a voice note, I'll summarize. Keep an eye out. Her name's Cassie Gaskell. She's Candidly Cassie on TikTok. But she told me in a voice note, like, that this video by Adam McIntyre was kind of upsetting her because, you know, he seems to be granting a lot of grace to Alyssa, and Cassie remembers Alyssa being a really nasty bully, and for a 17-year-old, she's very self-aware, she checks herself very impressively, and she says, you know, I remember at that time Alyssa was saying things about you, and I wanted to defend you, and I was very cringeworthy. I was a kid. You know, I tried to make my arguments, but they weren't strong. I was just a kid, so they weren't good arguments, but still, I remember then that Alyssa, with their username, went to my Instagram comments and started bullying the shit out of me, and included a comment that said, yourself, T-slur. And that just pisses me off on so many levels. Obviously, you know, using a slur like that.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that part of this. Um, Obviously this pisses me off. The Just telling somebody to do that to themselves, obviously, is abhorrent, especially a child, but specifically a trans child, while using transphobic language, is so beyond deplorable. The rate of trans children and teens who kill themselves is so many more. It's so much higher than the rate of regular teens, which is already high in this day and age. And to say that to a trans teenager is absolutely fucking deplorable. You have no idea where that child is mentally. To say that to any child is fucking deplorable. And you are like, oh my God. Especially as an adult at the time. Like, you are fucking disgusting. And the fact that you tried to weaponize transphobia while being transphobic is so disgusting, Alyssa.
Straight to jail. Telling anybody to off themselves, straight to jail. It being a little child.
Sorry, it just made me laugh because that's a Jessi-ism. Jessi and Lily do that all the time because it's a meme from Parks and Rec. But sorry, so it just made me laugh. It's not appropriate time to laugh though.
Straight to jail.
That's a crime. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
What's going
Straight
on?
to jail.
Oh, straight to jail.
Straight to jail, please.
Yep.
No, but on a serious note, straight to jail. This, straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Arrest me. She brought it online, so I feel
Straight to jail.
It's right to jail. Right to jail.
Child that you're talking to while you're an adult. So let's remember this little, like, I was saying, like, Alyssa talks in this, like, you know, I bet you're wondering how I got here kind of voice. And I'm sorry, like, I'm sorry to I'm not making fun of their voice or anybody's voice, but it's like the way that they talk, I believe, is part of this persona they put on because they've always played this victim victim role that kind of acted as a shield, in my opinion, for the criminal behavior that they've committed over the years. That and like including a laundry list of like diagnoses. So it would be like, I've got autism and ODD and you can't talk to me like that. And it's like, no, you even said in your own video, Alyssa, that, you know, a diagnosis can explain certain behavior, but it's not a get out of jail free card, basically. Paraphrasing what you said. So like I said, straight to jail on 3 counts there, but also just how fucking hypocritical are you to brand somebody a transphobe? Really, be honest, because you don't like them, but because they accidentally misgendered you she instead of them, apologized for it, corrected that behavior, and then never did it again. But then you would go so far as to actually tell a trans kid to off themselves and call them that slur. That they didn't even know that slur, or she didn't even know that slur, Cassie, until you introduced her to it. That's how she remembers. Because I asked her, do you remember for sure that this was Alyssa that said these things to you? And Cassie said, yes, I remember. I had to ask my mom what that word means. Her mom had to explain to her what that awful, awful, hateful word means. So yeah, that in and of itself, you could turn off the video here and just be like, yep, I know what I need to know. I think that, let me see. Yeah, Adam was definitely giving Alyssa the benefit of the doubt, thinking, you know, this person's younger than me. Nope, they're not. Yeah, Alyssa was an adult when leading the stands in their bullying behavior. This video takes no responsibility. I talked about that. No apologies, no attempts at making amends to the people that they hurt. Instead, they kind of paint themselves as the people who like absorb the dogpiling by the HelloLeesh and Jessi Smiles fandoms. I was there. I was there, and I'm not going to say everybody was nice to you, but I would definitely say that you were not dogpiled. I would absolutely say that you and your friends would run, because you all lived on Twitter, Alyssa. You didn't just live on Twitter, you lived on Twitter to bully people in the name of Gabbie Hanna. And not all of it was for Gabby, but it was all, that's, you know, how you guys all came to be friends. And that was your thing, and that was your entire thing. And I'm not going to buy that you were the same as me, my friends, my audience, Jessi's audience, friends, or anything like that. And the spam email thing alone is reason enough to prove this. If you haven't watched Jen's videos on this, like she's made much quicker videos than I have. She wrote down just like a short list of the things that Alyssa did to her, Jen.
I think I looked, and because I remember Lee saying this, I think Jen has deleted those videos to focus on this, the longer video that she made and released yesterday.
And I think it's worth it to go check that out, because Alyssa was absolutely terrible to Jen. But yeah, there was one thing I remember. I remember waking up one morning and Jen being like, ugh, they signed me up for like 10 spam email lists. And I was like, who? And she was like, the Gabby stands. And then I, for some reason, had like a sinking feeling in my stomach. And I checked my email, and I had, if I'm not mistaken, like something like 54. Unless I had 10, and I'm like inflating it in my mind. It was several email lists. And I remember the timestamps on when the emails came in, because what happened was these people were signing us up on these email lists, these spam email lists, but you had to confirm. So they would send you a confirmation email. You would have to confirm that you actually want to sign up for those lists. And then those confirmation emails also included IP addresses. So each one of those confirmation emails, you know, was timestamped because it was an email. And so I remember noticing that it was like, it would start at like midnight and went till like 5 or 6 in the morning. So like these people were up throughout the night just signing me and Jen up for these email lists. And we could tell more or less who those people probably were.
Some people don't get out much, huh? Damn, wow. okay, you know what I was doing when I was 18? Partying.
By the IP addresses that were provided. And we deduced that the people most likely responsible for this were Alyssa and Skia. And I remember, I think it was Jen that said, yep, the IP address that was on this email says that this person is in Albuquerque. And we know who's in Albuquerque. There you go. You add 2 and 2 together. And if I'm not mistaken, Alyssa is referring to that as doxing. I will say, there was an instance that I remember that I do consider doxing. Somebody found and posted Alyssa's parents' marriage license on Twitter. And I do remember that happening, and everybody in my circle, us talking about like, where did this come from, who posted this. None of us knew where it came from, and we all agreed like that's not okay, that is doxing. And I hate to say like maybe it was an inside job, because I don't like to think like that, but the way that this fandom conducted themselves, the way they moved, absolutely would not put it past them to do that themselves and then try to pin it on us meaning like the people that they opposed. So that did happen. I was never okay with it. Nobody that I knew was okay with it, but also I didn't do it and I didn't know anybody who did it. So I would find out exactly who did that, or at least deduce it to an IP address if you can, Alyssa, before you accuse anybody else of doing that.
Is that the doxing she's accusing Dent of in the comments?
Yeah, bullied and harassed people daily. If you know anything about the video of me like crying my eyes out, it's embarrassing to look back on now, but I also understand what time that was, being in isolation, living alone, being new to being on YouTube, dealing with a massive creator, mobilizing a huge fandom to bully and harass me, and not having family members or people close to me who knew how to support me through that time, and getting on my a Patreon live to, I guess, just make it through that day with people who understood the space a little bit better, and quite frankly make it through that day sober. So criticize me for that all you want. It's done. It happened. I did what I had to do. But that day, me sobbing for like 45 minutes, something like that, the video is, who do you think led that charge? Who the hell do you think led that charge? If I'm telling you, at that time, Alyssa was the ringleader of these bully stands. I made 2 videos, I think. I made an early video on about how the stands came across to me, like how they were in my comments. This was like before I really knew them. So there was one video there that I made early on, and then there was one video I made later when I had blonde hair and a bob. What a time, where this is where I knew these people much better. I don't remember what I said. I'll probably go back and watch those videos just to remind myself, because like, Alyssa, thanks to me, thanks to my poor memory right now, I can't list off all the shit that you did. But if I go back and watch these videos, I'll probably remember, oh yeah, that the other happened. But yeah, that's all to say, like, who do you think led the charge? If I'm telling you that this person was the ringleader at that time of the bully stands. So don't be so quick to paint yourself as a victim in this whole situation, especially if you're admitting that this fandom was toxic and hurtful and dangerous. Like I said, criminal. Yeah, there was other stuff. Like I said, watch Jen's video. I remember it was a big deal when Alyssa sent Jen a cease and desist, asked for Jen's signature, and then Jen sent a note that said, "Kiss my ass, Jen Dent," back. And then Alyssa copied and pasted, pasted that signature onto the document. Criminal, right? I'm not being dramatic here. Also,
yeah.
the rumor, if you know
Isn't that like a felony or something?
These stories well enough, the rumor that Jen Dent essayed a child, which was completely made up, fake, It did not happen. There was no child. And Gabby perpetuated that rumor, was very like, ooh, can you believe Jen Dent would do something like that? It's so horrible. So they're all awful. And if I'm not mistaken, Alyssa led the charge on that one too. So like I said, there's a bunch of other stuff that happened during those couple of years, and Alyssa was always there, and really kind of like, I heard something somewhere, because I haven't been on Twitter in a long time, thank God. That place is like the 7th layer of hell. But I heard somebody say something like, yeah, the stans are talking about you, and how like one of them was actually very self-aware about everything that happened, and said something about how, even though I don't like her, we made that HelloLeesh girl's life a living hell. I thought that maybe that was Alyssa that said that. If it was, then Alyssa, where was that self-awareness in this video? If it wasn't, Alyssa, you got to talk to whoever that was that said that, because there was no self-awareness in this video. I think it's time for a redo. I get it. I saw you had about 500 subscribers, but now people are talking about your video, and I understand that, by knowing you guys during that time, what you wanted was to be seen. And you said a lot of things that were very, very valid and very valuable about what it was like to be a Gabby fan at the time, and just wanting her attention. And how what you failed to say, but you kind of danced around, was that you were awful in service of getting noticed by Gabby. Admit that much. But I know that, you made your music,
It's two things can be true with Alyssa, like, and everybody. You can also be a victim of something while perpetrating something else. And if you're going to share your story, you have to meet somewhere in the middle and do both. You cannot just focus on your victimhood and not talk about how you perpetrated things.
Videos, you guys, a few of you wanted to be creators, you wanted attention, and now what's happening is you're getting that attention and realizing people remember you, and now bigger creators are talking about your video, and so the thing that happens is when you have a bigger audience, and I've only had so big of an audience, but I do know what it's like to go from 1,000 views on my video to, creators with 100K plus are talking about my videos. And it's a very different kind of attention, and it's a kind of attention that requires you to check yourself, to examine yourself, to hold, and to be able.
Well, she didn't grow that much, so
To be held to scrutiny. And I really want, oh my gosh, I've talked for 30 minutes almost. I would really be impressed by Alyssa if they could be properly held to scrutiny, and be properly self-aware of what happened during that time. Not just what Gabby did to us and other people, but what we did to other people in service of Gabby, but also just out of our own, dysfunction, need for revenge and vindication, sadistic, desires for some of you. You can't blame Gabby for all of it, but you definitely were responsible for it, and you are an adult. You are an adult. You've been an adult this whole time. And I will say this much, Cassie Gaskell has so much more integrity in her little self than you ever had, than you have ever had, ever. And at this point is still a child. And you, Alyssa, unless there was some huge mistake, but I asked, are you sure? Told this little child, 11-year-old child who was, you're not supposed to say the words on YouTube, but who was going through a period of wanting to off herself at 10, 11 years old. So imagine just going, transitioning at that age, and how difficult that has to be in dealing with depression and idle thoughts and behaviors and hospitalizations and all of that at that age, and then having adult people on the internet telling you to off yourself and calling you trans slurs. And I think honestly that's pretty much where I need to leave this. I will say there's not much you can do to come for me at this point.
I just want to say to Cassie, her name is, I'm so unbelievably sorry that happened to you. I'm just speechless at it. Like, it's so gross. I came out at 12 years old, so I experienced some of these things, but I was not trans, and especially not 5 years ago, where the temperature has been turned up towards trans folk so immensely in the past couple of years. Like, it's gotten so much fucking worse, and it's just,
because like I said, I'm not really on Twitter, but if you try to, because I spoke out about this, Alyssa, I am very, like I said, I'm going through some big life transitions right now. I'm very busy, but there are documents that exist that can jog my memory in terms of the things that happened early on. I will say this much. I remember at around that time, we were having my small friend group online at the time. We called ourselves the Big Six. We were talking about how we felt like the Gabbie Hanna fandom was much like a cult. And so we were doing a lot of research around their behaviors and kind of examining it next to a list of characteristics of a cult. I guess that model that kind of like gives you a score. I don't remember what it's called right off the top of my head. And I was going to put together a video that kind of, like I said, examined this fandom in comparison to what a cult looks like. And then eventually decided, like, maybe that topic maybe that's going a little bit too far. You know, is that maybe my own personal hangups with Gabby and her fandom that is making me want to make it out to be something more than it is? Well, Alyssa told you themselves that it was a cult. But that said, there are documents that we have where we have kept track of. I heard you deleted your Twitter, Alyssa, but we have a ton of screenshots. I know that those Google Docs exist with screenshots. They're like cross-referenced to topic and types of behaviors and all of that. All of that exists. So it's not here in my memory right now that I can just pull forward. But if I pull up those documents, they will jog my memory. And, you know, that's not me saying, I'm gonna do it unless you do this or that. But I'm saying, if you try to make anybody's life a living hell for speaking out against the way that you are characterizing your experience and not owning up to what you've done, I don't need you to come forward and apologize and make amends. But if you try to make anybody's life more of a living hell than that car's making my life, then you already have, then I will take the time. I will stop my life to go through those documents and see what is there. And if anybody wants to ask if that's me making a threat, yes. Absolutely, but not in the sense of like empty intimidation. I don't care to intimidate you. You don't do anything bad, I'm not going to call you out. I don't care to. You're not important to my life. You never have been. But a threat in the sense that it is a warning that, you know, if you're going to continue to hurt people, in the ways that we know you're capable of because you did it, just know that the things that you erased live on forever. We know that because YouTubers, go through cancellations and scandals because the internet's forever. So you can delete your Twitter, but you guys all had these Google Docs where you kept so much, because I never made the video where I wanted to talk about who the actual forensic analysts are. I hope that for anyone who stuck around to the end of this video, I just wanted to let you know. I was going to make a whole video where I talked about it, but when Gabby talks in that 3-hour phone call about her forensic analyst, and she would tell people in chats, like in DMs, that like she's going to check with her forensic analyst, they were just her patrons. They were just Alyssa and all these little people. I say little people because they were like kids to me, but that's who the forensic analysts are. So I know you guys have your forensic analysis, so it would be stupid to not realize that other people were doing their own forensic analysis. So you know, I don't care to drag this out any more than that. I just wanted to put my thoughts out there because it pissed me off. It pissed me off that it's being presented this way. What happened? That's it for now from me. Alyssa, I'm not trying to intimidate you. Like I said, be cool. Just be cool. Like, learn how to be cool. Just be cool. And nobody necessarily needs to drag up your past, though I can't make any promises because Dent's already started talking about it, and I think Jen has every right to. And so if somebody else wants to come out and say, hey, this was my experience with Alyssa, I'm not going to be there to stop them. Why would I? Yep, that's all I got to say. Thanks so much. To the one person who's watching who's not me, really, at this point at 35 minutes in. Geez Louise, what are you doing with your life? Just kidding. Hopefully you're getting settled in your new apartment and painting and just listening to my raspy voice that is messed up with dust or something like that. So I'm gonna rest my voice now. All right, I love you so much. All right, thanks, bye.
Really good video from HelloLeesh. I would be open to watching a expose of Alyssa, specifically about what she did to HelloLeesh. I'm not sure if that's ever, obviously she said she doesn't care, so unless Alyssa does anything, obviously I guess it won't get done. But oh God, I'm really just stuck on what she said to that little girl. Absolutely abhorrent. It's just like, God. And she's right about how, like, she's not the only one in this. There was a lot of other creators who were being harassed by this group of Gabby fans or Gabby stans, whatever the fuck you want to call them. And I would not want to be on the other end of Lily Marston and a laptop. So good luck with that, sis. I don't know what will happen there. So let's get on to Jen's video. Gabbie Hanna tried to ruin my life. I have proof.
Naysayers say you have to leave it in the past. All of these people haven't spoken about you in years. But the thing about slander is it's not a single attack. Slander is designed to ruin your life. It's designed to ripple into every single facet of everything you do. It's meant to ruin your reputation. So it's not something that, well, that happened to you years ago, you got to get over that. No, slander is an ongoing attack.
Mind you, all the slander about Gabbie Hanna was just like what she did to other people and how she treated them.
People tagging Jen in it, like, are people tagging Jen being like, hey, did you this little girl? This cannot come from me, Gracie. I just found the tweets. Make that shit go fucking viral.
Dude, I hope that girl responds so much. Or whoever that person is responds about that little girl. It's so fucking crazy.
I mean, when there's an accusation, it gets pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed on me. So, like, maybe it needs to get pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed on her.
Yeah.
See if she finally responds to it. See if people pick up on it.
Yeah. Think she's seen it?
Maybe tag people like Primink or Shannon or Not Another Drama Channel, that SM Creep show. Like, maybe start tagging them in that shit.
Dude, fuck all these people. I really hope this person has some type of,
Did you say creep show? Creep show art? God, I just got flashback to... Anyways, not the point.
Which I'm sure they don't. Like, that would have been years ago, right? Like, if Jen Dent was, like, being little girls, it would have been...
It's so crazy to me when people are, like, doing this, because it's like you're hoping that, like, a terrible fucking heinous crime happened here. Ethan Klein has done this, and I just don't, like... I don't understand how you are willing to enter that frame of mind where you're like trying to prove something happened that didn't, and like are disappointed that somebody was not victimized in that way, or like you're hoping that somebody was. Like, it's very, very strange. And it's a mindset that I do not understand, and I refuse to understand. I find it gross, honestly. Like I said, these are heinous crimes. In the criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of the elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories. Dun dun. Sorry. I love Louis Benson. Sorry, like, you know what? Not the point.
Years ago, like what receipts are there? But I'd love to hear the story.
Hey everybody, long time no see like this. I don't really do videos anymore, hence the laptop setup. I tried to do my camera, that did not work. I never thought I would make this video. I never thought that I would actually get my hands on the information that allowed me to make this video. This video has been a long time coming, at least 6 years of me thinking about this and knowing what I knew, but not being able to prove it. It's been very difficult. I'm filming this video on June 13th. This all started the week of June 5th. It was, I think, Wednesday that I saw that Alyssa Perrine had put up a video saying that she has left the Gabbie Hanna fandom. When I saw that video, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I skimmed through it as usual. Alyssa not taking any accountability or responsibility for anything she's done in the past. It's always somebody else's fault, right? I sent that video to Jessi, and Jessi immediately texted back and was like, no fucking way. Wasn't she the worst one? Wasn't she the ringleader? And I was like, yeah, for sure. So we saw the video and we were like, whatever. Now, the reason Jessi reacted the way she did, and several other people were like pointing out this video by Alyssa, the reason for that is because Alyssa made herself well known during the whole Gabby versus Jessi debacle for all those years. She made sure she was front and center at all times when it came to defending Gabby, when it came to getting on Twitter and just arguing with everybody. It was an ongoing thing with Alyssa that a lot of people knew about. It was like Thursday, I think, that Vangelina Skov put a video up responding to that video by Alyssa. And I checked it out. Mostly I was reading the comments while watching the video. I was seeing a lot of people say, yo, this is not correct. Like, Alyssa is an actual psychopath who fucking harassed the shit out of people for years. We sat and watched this happen. And as I'm watching Vangelina's video, I'm getting annoyed, right? I mean, I hate to even use the word because I know everybody loves to make fun of it, but it triggered me. It was like, no, this girl has been an absolute fucking psychopath, harassed the shit out of me for years. And you guys are sitting here and allowing her the opportunity to pretend she didn't do any of this shit. It was at the end of the video when Vangelina started going through the comments on Alyssa's video that she was like, yeah, no, this girl is... something seems off. And I did apologize in the comments. I am sorry for going off the way I did, but truly, it's been a long time of harassment from her. I was getting a lot of messages too on Twitter. I call it Twitter. I was getting a lot of messages on Twitter, on Instagram. I was getting messages on Facebook of people that remembered Alyssa and were like, yo, did you see this video? And I'm like, yeah. Also in the comments of Vangelina's video, a lot of people were saying, if this is upsetting you, you're going to be really pissed when you see Adam McIntyre's video. And I'm like, what? So I go to look, there's no video by Adam McIntyre, but all day I'm being told you're gonna be pissed when you see his video because he sympathizes with her and says none of this is her fault. She's completely innocent. She was a kid when all this happened. And I'm like, she absolutely was not. She was an adult. She was 18 when all this started. She's 24 now. And so that's 6 years of her being a constant little gnat, just buzzing around me, a little mosquito, just nipping. It's just been nonstop. These years have not been fun for me. Anybody that always says, oh, you get online and you talk about Gabby all the time, or you only get online to talk about the stands. Yeah, I have a job. I'm a nurse. Y'all didn't take that from me. Even though you tried, that is what this video is about. I'm going to prove what you guys did. I'm going to prove what Gabby did. But these years have not been fun for me. I would rather not do this. I would rather not talk about this. And that's why I'm making this video, and I want it to be the last fucking time I talk about the stands, I talk about Gabby, or any of this shit. I'm so fucking exhausted from it. It is the middle of 2026, and I'm still trying to get over shit that happened in 2025. I don't have the time or inclination for this shit. I'm exhausted from this. I'm fucking sick and tired of it, and it's gonna stop. I saw the video from Vangelina, and I made some videos of my own. I put them on YouTube. They're still up, and I also posted those videos on Twitter, and I also tagged Alyssa and said, why did you even bother making this video? Your ass is getting dragged in the comments. People remember you. I should have known better, because what did that do? That opened the door for Alyssa and maybe a handful of her friends who she says it's not her. I'm convinced it's her talking to herself. But then again, you know, there are a lot of crazy people out there. She has got a few friends and herself. They have been trolling me nonstop since about June 5th, and today is June 13th. I have had my job threatened. I have had them say they're going to call the State Board of Nursing. They have threatened my pets. And then there's always the video edits that come of me being compared to farm animals, me being called old, me being called fat, me being called ugly. It's nothing new. It's just the same thing. Wash, rinse, repeat. Yeah, you can block them. They make new accounts. Alyssa has multiple accounts. Just search her name on Twitter, you'll see what I'm talking about. So there's
I did see, let's go to Jen's YouTube. She did have some shorts still up, I believe, because the videos, because yeah, she doesn't have those videos up anymore that she was talking about, but she did have some shorts up, I believe. And Alyssa Perrine updates, Alyssa Perrine shady facts, Alyssa Perrine updates. Not, I mean, there are big creators with don't have these many up fan pages, and he has 500 subscribers. Jesus Christ, that was an insane comment. I'm not gonna read it, but like, Jesus fucking Christ, it just goes to show what she's talking about.
There's no need to block them. You can mute them, but they still find new ways to get you. If they can't get you on Twitter, they'll come to your YouTube. If that doesn't work, well, they'll just go to your Instagram or your TikTok. It doesn't matter. I could get offline, but I mean, should I have to? Like, this is a long time and it's still going. So then Adam McIntyre, in his infinite wisdom, decides to take the video that apparently he had done on live to an audience who was telling him he was wrong. He decided to then post that video on YouTube. So I think that was Friday. I can't really remember, but that gave Alyssa even more leeway and excitement and stardom and all that stuff, so she could just spend the whole rest of the day coming at me all day long from every fucking angle, because Adam gave her license to do that. Adam took the video down later on Saturday afternoon, as he should have, and to this day he has not corrected himself or said anything. Adam, you know, I've watched your channel. I like you. I think your channel's cool, but you don't have to put a video out every day. You could take a break. You could research what you're talking about before you put it up, because somebody like you who has as big of an audience as you do, you have a responsibility to look into what it is that you're posting. You posted a person who has harassed me, who has forged my name, who says I doxed them, who has absolutely said some of the most horrible shit to me and my friends and done some of the most horrific shit, and you gave her an audience and you said that none of it was her fault. And to this day, you still haven't said anything else about it. Not that I expect you to, but I have to say that you posting that video really did spark a fire in me that put me into motion, and a lot of things have happened because of it. But before I get into everything that has happened after the video was put out, let me refresh everybody's memory on Alyssa and how I met Alyssa and how I even know who the fuck she is in the first place. I'm not even going to try to remember what was going on between Gabby and Jessi at this specific time. It was summer 2020. We're on Twitter a lot. There's a lot going down. And yeah, I ran my mouth constantly. I'm never going to even say anything different. I have always talked shit about Gabby because Gabby deserves it. Gabby is a piece of shit. Gabby is the worst fucking person on this planet. So yeah, I was talking a lot of shit on Twitter, and there were a group of stans that were just absolutely asinine crazy. The main one that that I remember is Alyssa. There was a girl named Skia. There was somebody named Tyler. There was a Monica. There was a Lisa. And then there was Gracie. And we're going to talk about Gracie in this video. But Alyssa was just off the chain from the very beginning. I mean, she just never stopped. It was nonstop. Boom, 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 boom. All day. If you blocked her, she made a new account. That's how I got to know Alyssa in the summer of 2020 when everything was really coming to a head between Jessi and Gabby. And there was just so much shit going on. And Alyssa was just front and center, just constantly, again, harassing, trolling, saying the nastiest shit, talking about shit she had no idea. They all do that. They all talk about the Gabby and Jessi situation as if they were physically present in every room of every situation that went down. They know more than anybody. You can't tell them shit. And throughout all of this, I saw that she does music. And I use that term very, very loosely. She had some music videos up. And so I went and looked at one of them and my God. And I ended up posting it and just like saying, oh, this is a bop or whatever. I eventually was like, I'm just kidding. This is absolutely fucking horrible. And it made her so mad that she, first of all, says that I told her to kill herself, which absolutely did not happen. I invite you to find that screenshot. Did not tell her to kill herself, but she got so mad about me posting her music that she decided to send me a cease and desist. And instead of me telling that story, I'll just let Alyssa tell it.
I released a new song and Jenna told me she liked it. She then went and claimed it was shit and that she shared it as a joke. From this point on, she started talking about my bad singing and kept posting my song, which is my own intellectual property. On August 10th, I sent Jen a cease and desist for intellectual property, and on August 11th, she responded with her signature. Jen likes to tell the story as if I forged her name onto a cease and desist, but what she always fails to realize is that she sent her email titled response with an attachment. I advised a legal notary, and I advised a lawyer after the fact just to make sure. I was in the clear. On August 12th, Jen sent me a cease and desist for defamation. In this, she asked me to, and I quote, please find attached in a request to cease and desist defamation, slander, and or libel. Details are in the document. Sign it and send it back to me. My lawyer is involved now. Thanks. I replied by telling her to kiss my ass. She replied by telling me I had 10 days to sign it when it comes to my door. This confused me because first off, she doesn't have my home address. And second, mail? What? You have my email. You can do literally what I did. It is just as valid and just as legally binding. And I just want to say, just because you don't agree or like someone does not mean that a notary, 2 lawyers, all of them are lying. Like, the evidence is all right here. So you can either continue to say it's fake, or you could just accept that I sent you a cease and desist.
Nobody said you didn't send me a cease and desist. I said you forged my name on that cease and desist, you fucking clown. So there's that story about her forging my name. And yeah, a cease and desist, how valid could it be? Whatever. But she actually cut and pasted my signature onto that document. And in that document was like a list of things I had supposedly done, like offenses, and then a list of things that I agreed to, and she put my name at the bottom, and that just was not cool with me. So Alyssa's other claim on me is
also,
that
that's not allowed. You can't do that. You're not, just because it was a response, like
doxed her. And rather than me tell you the story, I'll just let her tell you the story, which she already told on YouTube. This is a video that she did back when it happened.
November 17th, Alex James posted a video on Gabby, and Jen had kept tweeting about us. After a couple of us in a group chat had seen a video on TikTok about how people were signing up their exes for Donald Trump email listings that spammed them, and immaturely, we decided to do this. I realize now that this was a bad decision, and this is something that I shouldn't have done. It was immature, it was selfish, it was rude, and I can take accountability for that. And we realized it was a mistake. On November 18th, Jen noticed that my IP address was linked to one of the spam emails and posted it on Twitter, saying I was dumb and wouldn't realize that I did this.
I tweeted that it was Albuquerque. The IP address showed Albuquerque. Let me say it again. Albuquerque.
We can all agree what I did was dumb, but we can also all agree that swatting is a serious and dangerous issue in America right now.
Come here.
How did we just get there? How did we get from point A to point B? Also, who are you? Like, swatting is a big, serious problem for live streamers and creators who have big audiences. That was another thing with the doxing thing. It was like, doxed you to who? The other Gabby fans? Like,
Nobody is going to swat you. What the fuck are you talking about?
And posting my IP address like that could have gotten me injured or killed.
IP address?
That is not okay. On November 27th, HelloLeesh made a video on the Gabbie Hanna fandom about the emails and how toxic we are.
I remember waking up one morning and Jen being like, ugh, they signed me up for like 10 spam email lists. And I was like, who? And she was like, the Gabby stands. And then I, for some reason, had like a sinking feeling in my stomach. And I checked my email and I had, if I'm not mistaken, like something like 54 email lists. And I remember the timestamps on when the emails that came in, because these people were signing us up on these email lists, these spam email lists, but you had to confirm. So they would send you a confirmation email. You would have to confirm that you actually want to sign up for those lists. And then those confirmation emails also included IP addresses. I remember noticing that it was like, it would start at like midnight and went till like 5 or 6 in the morning. Like these people were up throughout the night, just signing me and Jen up for these email lists. We deduced that the people most likely responsible for this were Alyssa and Skia. I think it was Jen that said, yep, the IP address that was on this email says that this person is in Albuquerque, and we know who's in Albuquerque. There you go. You add 2 and 2 together. And if I'm not mistaken, Alyssa is referring to that as doxing.
A lot of us were doxxed for defending her.
Albuquerque. So that's basically it on Alyssa. Really, this video is not about Alyssa. I would like to get into what happened after Alyssa's video, Evangelina's video, Adam's video, and Adam's video being taken down, the constant harassment and trolling that has been going on since the 5th, and what all has happened since then. Like I said, I was getting a lot of messages, a lot of different places, and some of the people that were messaging me were stans that I recalled their name. They knew me and they contacted me and told me who they were. One of the ex-stans is called Prince. I fully remembered that username and the way that this person talks, and this person got in my inbox and started talking about the whole thing and explained how they were very, very young when all of this happened, but they were watching and they remembered all of this. And this person helped me a lot with like remembering usernames or specific people or specific posts. One thing this person said was that Gracie was pretty much used by Gabby and discarded. And I do have an old comment that was put on one of my videos regarding that. I know the lore with this one, sadly, as someone that used to support Gabby. There was a fan named Gracie that Gabby manipulated into thinking Jen was a rapist privately in DMs and managed to make Gracie speak up publicly and spread this allegation. Gabby watched Gracie get sent so much hate for spreading this allegation, and instead of checking on her, she just watched it all go down. She loves to have her fans do her dirty work for her and then claim she herself didn't do anything, because in the public eye, that seems like an accurate statement. Now that she's lost most of her fans, she's doing the dirty work herself publicly. Anyway, Gracie almost offed herself because of the hate, and Gabby reached out to her and asked if she could use Gracie's offing attempt and mention it in her 2020 comeback video to make a public point that my fans get harassed to this point for simply supporting and defending me. If you watch that video, Gracie's attempt, without being named, is mentioned. Gabby is disgusting. She was never sexual with us, as far as I know, but she groomed us like Colleen.
Hey babe, I had a question. I'm writing my comeback video right now, and I'm just talking about how shit got crazy after I got off still, and part of me was just trying to just show how fucking crazy these people are. I'm making a list of all the shit they did, like how they were collecting people's personal private conversations from when they were venting in the Discord and contacting their families and stuff. And obviously only if you're 100% okay with this, and obviously I wouldn't say your name, but would it be okay if I said something along the lines of like, one of my fans relapsed with self-harm and attempted suicide because she was under extreme duress from these people. Obviously, it's only if you're 100% okay with it. One of my fans who's been along the ride, oh god, she's been around for fucking ever. She's the fucking best. She had a relapse with her self-harm and attempted suicide because they contacted someone they shouldn't have and put her under extreme duress. And now she's in a rehabilitation center. Like, this is not some weird troll internet fun. These are seriously dangerous people, and I'm not even here, and every day it's a new drama that they're trying to create still.
So as far as Gracie goes, I honestly always felt bad about that. I did recognize that for whatever reason,
I just wasn't expecting that see the video. Gobsmacked does not begin to cover.
This adult had been encouraged or influenced to do this. What Gracie initially tweeted was, guys, I think Jen may have somebody, or guys, Jen may have someone. And she retweeted that tweet from that crazy account that literally to this day, I don't know who that is or what they're talking about. To be honest, I think Gabby is behind that account. It's just totally crazy that somebody would tweet all that and then just disappear, never respond to any questions. Like, I myself even sent that account a message and was like, who are you and what are you talking about? So I just truly believe that was Gabby or Peyton that made that account. But I always felt bad about Gracie because as a nurse and just a person in general who has dealt with many things in my own personal life and with people I love and know, I know what it's like to struggle with something and then to just have things piled on. I know what it's like to act out when you're not happy in life or things are not going well or you feel like you don't have any control. And so I felt bad for Gracie, and I always did feel guilt if she had to go to any kind of treatment for anything I said or did, because I really did go hard at her. But people were literally calling a job I didn't have.
I mean, going hard at her was granted. I mean, like, it was valid. She accused you of rape. Like, that's insane to just
have anymore. And something I've never told anybody, I don't think, is that I had interviewed for a company that I had worked for in the past. This was in the pandemic when all this happened. I had already lost my second job that I had to make ends meet because of COVID. That company shut down because we weren't allowed to go visit people in their homes. And so I had interviewed for a position that I had had in the past. And it was a really good interview. I had great references. There was no reason for me not to get the job. I was told, we'll call you back next week and basically let you know. And I never heard back from them. And I even reached out to my reference who worked there, who had like told the people about me. She's like, that's very strange they never called you back. Well, these stands had called that place based off of my LinkedIn, and I had worked there in the past when they called them. So maybe that had something to do with it. But these people were actively calling my job or a job I didn't have anymore. And they were bragging about it online. It was just also how much it was being retweeted, how much it was being stated as a fact. There were articles going up online about it. You know, the people that follow online drama, there were articles up until maybe a year ago or so. If somebody was Googling me and like put the time in and was scroll enough, these things would come up about Jen Dent and a rape allegation. And so it has bothered me ever since it happened. I think what was different this time about getting annoyed with all of this and the being trolled and everything is just the fact that I've been going through a lot in the past year and a half. My life changed drastically, and like, this is not a sob story, but like, I have friends here, I have a job, but I'm alone a lot, which is a reason I'm moving back home. That wasn't the plan when I moved here. And so I don't have a buffer to like talk to anybody about this. And I have enough going on. Like, I have animals I take care of, I have a job, I have to take care of myself, which, you know, that's a whole thing, but like, it just hit different this time. And not only did it hit different personally, but this psychopath is being listened to. I'm talking about Alyssa is being heard out, and in some cases being painted out as the victim. And it just truly pissed me off. It pissed a lot of people off, enough to where they were messaging me about it. And in talking to Prince and bringing up Gracie, Prince was like, you know, I really feel bad for Gracie. Like, she's hardly even online anymore. She just kind of disappeared after that. And I'm like, I feel bad for her too. Wish I could talk to her. And Prince says, well, you should try. So that's what I did. I decided on June 5th I had had enough. Seems like it's never going to stop. What else did I have to lose at this point? So I followed Gracie on Twitter. And then I sent her an email. Hi, Gracie. I hope you are doing well. I was hoping to have a conversation with you. I would like to talk about the tweet that accused me of sexual assault. It is my belief and understanding that there was heavy influence surrounding that situation, and I would really like to understand better. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation and the never-ending cycle of Gabby showing up every few years writing or attempting to rewrite the story. I would appreciate a conversation that could bring clarity and closure to both of us. If you are not comfortable, I understand. Just know that I believe this could stop the cycle for once and for all. Thanks, Jen. And Gracie wrote me back.
Hi there, Jen. I hope you're well. I'm definitely open to having a conversation about this because the whole time really traumatized me, as I'm sure it did you too. Saying it with a heavy influence is an understatement. To give a little bit of more context into our relationship, I'm not sure why she first started constantly replying to me as a fan, but it was really exciting. Close to 2019, the dynamic kind of changed. Personally, I was going through extreme anorexia and struggling with like substance and drug use and dealing with the death of my partner at the time. I lost my job, apartment, and I had to take a leave from school to go into a treatment center. This is very important to the story because when she heard about these things I was going through, she started sending me money, gifts in the mail, and talking to me more constantly, and basically telling me she would financially support me through this time. After that, she would ask me for favors here and there, which quickly turned into receiving over 50 messages a day from her. She would spam text me during breakdowns talking about wanting to die and things like that. Some mornings I would wake up to a mental breakdown spam in my inbox. And I guess from the headspace and the amount of substance use I was engaging in, plus the money and the attention, she had me doing everything for her at a certain point because she had me genuinely believing also that she was innocent and that she innocently needed the help. We would video chat using this app, and I did save all the messages, and I have everything, including videos of her finding evidence and begging me to post it. And then fast forward to when the drama channels heavily picked up on this, my issues and usage had led to me being in a residential treatment center. I will say the online drama definitely triggered me, but I had so many untreated issues still that I was dealing with, which was the main thing, my eating disorder that I was going through. And while I was in the hospital for my behaviors, she asked me if she could use my mental breakdown for her comeback video. At this point in the center, I was allowed my phone like 20 minutes a day for about a 3-month period while I was in there, and I wasn't really able to help her much anymore in the way that I was before. After I got out of treatment, the last time, she pretty much ghosted me. I confronted her multiple times, and she pretty much told me I was incredibly parasocial and imagined our friendship because she was nice to a fan. It felt like the textbook definition of gaslighting, and she said so many lies to me about how her messages meant one thing and not how I perceived them. She then unfollowed me everywhere and told me she wasn't comfortable around me, and then invited a friend of mine, who was also another fan account, to her house and officially hired her. It was a really awful time for me. I even was in EMDR therapy after all of that because of the things she said to me and put me through. Also, to Jen, I'm sure this wasn't easy for you either, and Jessi. So understand that everything I'm saying here is not to discredit the pain or experience or say that mine was worse, but it is important to know how complicated our relationship was. This has weighed on me for a really long time, and I've always wanted to reach out to you, but was scared to. I felt like you didn't want to hear from me, and I honestly, for a long time, was scared of what Gabby could do with her influence of followers if I posted something like that. She was the reason I was doxxed after she used my name publicly, and there were people threatening my sister. I know this is a lot. It barely even touches the surface of our relationship. I apologize if it's too much, and I'm open to any more questions if you want. And I just want to say a little thing at the end. I don't want any of this to come across wrong. I am neurodivergent, and I sometimes have trouble forming words, and I don't want people or you to think that I said all of this trauma to excuse my behavior. Despite my issues, I was definitely still responsible for my actions, and I am truly deeply sorry for any of the pain that I caused you and other people, and I appreciate you guys' kindness and respect and willing to listen to my side. Thank you.
There was a fan.
That's one thing that I will note about the victims of Gabbie Hanna. She chose very kind-hearted people, with like very good-hearted people to fixate on, most of them. And I truly do believe that if anybody who is in this fandom or this cult-like group or whatever, if you are willing to take accountability, I think a lot of the people who are victims of this understand what Gabby is like enough to know that like you can also be manipulated into a situation and also be a perpetrator. Two things can be true. So like if you are a part of this, were a part of this, don't feel afraid to apologize. You never know how much it can mean to somebody that you harmed.
And that was clearly enamored with you, Gabby, and you knew that, and you all the time are talking about.
Also, like, God, there was so much to process there, but that was insane. What Gabby was doing with that fan. Also, like the gaslighting of like we were never close. Like, also for her to like exoriate, to like the way she went after Trisha Paytas for being like we weren't friends, and they actually weren't. And anyways, to find out that somebody is struggling with substance abuse issues and then provide them with money and ask stuff for like, are you a, what's your, are you, oh, so you're want them to depend on you for their like, what are you doing? That is insane. Even families cut off addicts with like you know what I mean, for their, because it's not the point, but like, what the fuck?
About abuse and power dynamics. Also, you talk a lot about mental health. You've talked about when you've needed mental help, but then you say you're fine and you don't. Gabby, this explains why this full-grown adult was doing so much on your behalf. This explains why this full-grown adult tweeted that I may have raped someone at your direction. You told this person to do that. Not only is there a power imbalance there with you simply being who you are in relation to Gabby and how she even knows who you are and vice versa in the first place, but you take it to another level with financial support. You tell this person that she's special, that she gets special treatment. You give her things for free that other fans are paying for. You pay her for her rent. You give her money. You tell her just reach out if she needs more. You tell her don't tell anybody else that she gets special treatment. You tell her that you paying her bills and whatever else you're supplying for her is your way of thanking her for all of the things she has done for you. This all happened before you got her to tweet this allegation that you found that I'm really convinced that you were behind. Once I got that email from Gracie, I was just like literally shocked that she even responded. I didn't think that she would. And I sent that response to Leesh and to Jessi, both of whom were just literally shocked. This started a whirlwind of us talking to different people, a small group of people, and me thinking about what I was going to do with this information. And then Gracie started sending more stuff.
This cannot come from me, Gracie. I just found the tweets. For some reason, they feel so violated. Yeah, sorry, someone just messaged me. Make that shit go fucking viral. Like, as viral as you can within the community. Like, I'll send you the tweets right now. I need to figure out how I can message Gracie. Quietly and safely. Like, it has to be like, this cannot... Subtly? How is she gonna do it subtly? It just can't come from me. Like, I'm the only person it cannot come from.
Yeah, but it can't be like a massive blow up.
Yeah.
It can't be like 50 people sending it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It can't be everyone sending it at once, you're right. But it needs to get to people. It needs to be tagged to drama channels, too. There's a lot of
You were messaging drama channel
tweets that show, like, somebody's, like, accusing her of raping a little girl. Like, it's kind of serious. So, hold on. What, honey?
Yeah, good.
You don't think I should involve Gracie?
No, I don't think you yourself should.
I'm not. That's why I'm telling Gracie. I can't be involved. It cannot come from me whatsoever. So this account right here, Bungle X. Yes, that's me. No, I wasn't drunk. I assume that rape admission was a Freudian slip, but please, the truth will set you free. And then somebody here said, my internet's not working at all. Baby, can I just see it on your phone so I can show Gracie so she can go find it?
Yes, 1 second.
Okay. That account keeps tweeting that she like raped a little girl. Maybe you can message the account and see if there's any details, or also just like tell people about it. But like it can't be sudden. It can't be big. I'll show you pictures of it when he opens it on his phone. But they're Bungle, Bungle X. Okay, so I will not rest until there is accountability for Jen Dent raping a tiny innocent little girl. I don't care if it takes years, but everyone will know the truth. What are you covering? From who? Oh, okay. So? Babe, first of all, didn't it show something about, it's Gracie. What's she gonna do with your boss's name? Chill. So this is one of them. And then what was the other one where it was like you took girls to the little den? I guess this is some idiots talking about her raping my friend. Remember when people called you Jen to the Den. Your followers really deserve to know what you did, so own up, hypocrite. So yeah, I don't know, but get people on it. See if you can like get some answers. I have a drama channel looking too. Dude, fuck all these people. I really hope this person has some type of like evidence, which I'm sure they don't. Like that would have been years ago, right? Like if Jen Dent was like being little girls, it would have been years ago. Yeah. Like what receipts are there? None. But I'd love to hear the story. There's no fucking receipts for anything that they accuse me of, so.
I'm literally shaking. I had to take my medicine for anxiety just to do this. You would love to hear the story. You would love to hear the story of a little girl being sexually assaulted. Of course, the lesbian assaulted a little girl, right? Right, Gabby? But you'd love to hear the story. So she needs to get people on it quietly and safely because it's kind of serious. She can't be involved, but get the details. There's no concern here about this fictitious child. Meanwhile, we got Peyton over here in the background. Peyton Saxon. He's a medical sales consultant. I don't really remember exactly what company he works for. You know, Peyton, who painted himself and was painted as the ever concerned and so supportive boyfriend who was so worried about her mental health, and he just hated that any of this was going on. He even sent me a DM one time on Twitter telling me to stop cussing at the kids or something like that. But Peyton found this on Twitter, just found this and gave it to Gabby, and is in the background talking about being quiet and safe and subtle.
Are people tagging Jen in it? Like, are people tagging Jen being like, hey, did you this little girl? Because like low-key, if we put a lot of pressure on her about that, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because like, what if she speaks about it herself? You know what I mean? And then people start looking into it like, well, why are people accusing you of being a little girl? Because like, that's so random. So like, should they be pushing her to do it or no? That's what they do to me. There was an accusation.
I thought you meant Gracie.
No.
I don't know what the right thing to do is.
I mean, when there's an accusation, it gets pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed on me. So like, maybe it needs to get pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed on her.
Yeah.
See if she finally responds to it. See if people pick up on it.
Yeah. I think she's seen it.
Maybe tag people like Primink or Shannon or Not Another Drama Channel, that SM creep show. Like, maybe start tagging them in that shit. Yeah, of course she's seen it, babe. She's so obsessed
Shannon? Wasn't that Illuminati? God, oh no. Or maybe, no, that was Blair. Shannon. Okay, sorry, maybe it's my bad.
with Twitter. Like, she stalks that shit like crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, they need to push me, right? They need to be pushing me to respond to it.
Of course she's people pick up. I mean, so random.
I was not paying attention.
Like, people tag
this on Twitter, just found this and gave it to Gabby, and is in the background talking about being quiet and safe and subtle.
Are people tagging Jen in it? Like, are people tagging Jen being like, hey, did you this little girl? Because, like, low-key, if we put a lot of pressure on her about that, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because, like, what if she speaks about it herself? You know what I mean? And then people start looking into it like, well, why are people accusing you of being a little girl? Because, like, that's so random. So, like, should they be pushing her to do it or no? That's what they do to me. There was an accusation.
I thought you meant Gracie.
No.
I don't know what the right thing to do is.
I mean, when there's an accusation, it gets pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed on me. So, like, maybe it needs to get pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed on her.
Yeah.
See if she finally responds to it. See if people pick up on it.
Yeah. I think she's seen it.
Maybe tag people like Primink or Shannon or Not Another Drama Channel, that SM creep show. Like, maybe start tagging them in that shit. Yeah, of course she's seen it, babe. She's so obsessed with Twitter. Like, she stalks that shit like crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, they need to push me, right?
If you've never been around somebody who has snorted some form of drug, that is what it sounds like afterwards. There is this thing that happens with, especially with cocaine, where it builds up in like your nose and then it drips into the back of your throat. And like a lot of the times people just like, and the drip can also come to the front. So a lot of people feel like they need to do that a lot of the time.
They need to be pushing me to respond to it, because anytime anybody says anything about you, they push you to talk about it, right?
Dude, I hope that girl responds so much. Or whoever that person is responds about that little girl. It's so fucking crazy. Thanks for checking into it. This person, I doubt they're gonna want to talk to like random pages. They're not my fan, but...
Yeah, this little girl who got is probably not my fan, so good luck with us getting any info. Ooh, This is my favorite one.
Feel free to share this information with anybody who's worried. They have absolutely no case. They couldn't do anything even if they wanted to. In order for anything to be considered like defamation or slander, or for any type of legal action to be taken, one, you would have to publish it publicly. So like you would need to write a book, make a YouTube video, tweet, this person did this thing.
Y'all made sure to put it all over Twitter and retweet it and pass it around like it was factual information.
Which you haven't done any of. You haven't like gone out of your way to be like, this person raped this person. So you're good. Second, they would have to prove that you did it knowing that it was a lie. So like if you came to me and you were like, hey, like I know that Jen didn't actually do this thing, but I'm gonna like tell everybody she did this thing. Like, are we in this together? Okay, great. Like you would have to prove that that happened, because them saying it's not true, like the reason defamation is so hard is you have to prove that the person knowingly lied. So like in my case, like I could sue T-Spill for defamation or Dustin Daly for defamation because they had alternative information and they ignored it. So like unless you have some type of alternative information, like this Adam Bungle guy like came to you and was like, hey, just so you know, this isn't real, they can't do anything. And then the last thing is you never...
So, like, what is this, like, you're talking to your fan, you're naked in bed. I guess you guys were close or whatever, but like weird, just a thing, just a note, maybe. We would think it was weird if it was a man. So
never accused anybody of anything. You asked people questions, like somebody else put something out there and then you guys were talking about something that somebody else said. None of you guys made the claim. So those are like the three main things. You guys didn't make the claim in the first place. You guys didn't publish that claim, and there's no way to prove that you guys were saying anything that you knew was a lie. They're just trying to scare you. They're bad people. They're fucking losers. Don't let them scare fans. They're literally trying to scare fans on Twitter from speculating. Like, they know.
about
Like,
crimes, heinous crimes you can go to jail for. What? What? This woman is unwell deeply.
what they are doing is what has been happening to me for how long now? Like, they're so fucking stupid, dude. Don't worry about it. You're absolutely fine. There's not a lawyer in this fucking world that would try to sue you guys. And then if they did try to sue you for defamation, fun fact, they would have to pay your court fees because there's no way they would possibly win. Trust me. And if they did take you to...
I also cannot stand the narrative, like, that she keeps on trying to perpetuate, that, like, people talking about the things that she did to them, that Gabby did to them, was some sort of, like, defamation campaign where, like, or smear campaign. Like, no, baby girl, what's that word again? I think it starts with a C, or consequences. Is that what it is for your own actions? Oh, right.
court and lost, which they would lose, they have to pay your court fees and your legal fees. So you're gonna be fine regardless.
First of all, Gabby, you are so fucking vile. You know exactly what the fuck you did. You did this on purpose. You found this tweet that I think you tweeted, but you found this tweet and made sure that it was spread far and wide. You called a drama channel and asked them to look into it, and you're telling these people not to worry about it because they're just your fans on Twitter. That's where it was tweeted, Gabby. That's where this whole thing happened. Gabby, you're so disgusting. Wash your fucking hair. Then you just disappear after all this. You send little... apologies, emails, and videos, but you disappear and you just leave the fans to deal with this. You leave Gracie to deal with this. Gracie's in treatment.
Hey, wow, I'm so ugly, holy shit. I just want to apologize for really involving you in so much. Like, I know that like we're friends and I was like leaning on you as a friend, but it was just too much and put you in a compromising situation. And I guess in my head I was like, oh well, Gracie's like relatively anonymous, like she's just, I'm on the toilet by the way, like nobody's gonna like come for her. And obviously I was wrong, and obviously it's just like, I know you're saying that's not the reason you're gone, but it was a lot. So I just wanted to say that.
Turns out Gracie's not even in treatment for this. Gracie told you she was in treatment for other things outside of this. You asked to use her story as an example of how I went out of my way to ruin other people's lives. You just disappear. You fully acknowledge that. You've acknowledged that many times. And then Gracie reaches out to you and she's like, can we talk? Like, what happened? And you just blow her off. Tell her that she's acting incredibly parasocial, that basically you don't trust her. That's like why you don't talk to her anymore. You're sorry if she took it some other kind of way, but like you were just trying to help her or show her appreciation. But at the same time, you're apologizing for putting her through this. You make this girl feel crazy. You completely ghost her. She basically gets offline because she just can't deal with it. She doesn't even reach out to me. It takes all this time. It takes you coming back online and talking about Jesus and God. And, you know, Gabby, when you were gone, we didn't talk about you or think about you. I know that drives you crazy, but it's the truth. I've had too many other things going on. People are raising families. People are out here being happy. Or
Like, Jessi Smiles won't even say her name. Like, that's how bad so many people have just got like not let everything go, but it's in the past. It happened, whatever. Gabbie Hanna is the one who keeps on bringing shit up over and over and over and over again and calling people her abuser when she was the one who abused them. Like,
or fighting for their lives, or both. When you had moved and gotten married, I was like, cool, that's cool. Wish her the best. When I saw that you were working in the real world, I was like, great. That's the extent of it. When you came back, I didn't even know until you decided to come back and use your new Jesus platform to still disparage, defame, and slander people. You talk about slander.
Naysayers say you have to leave it in the past. All of these people haven't spoken about you in years. But the thing about slander is it's not a single attack. Slander is designed to ruin your life. It's designed to ripple into every single facet of everything you do. It's meant to ruin your reputation. So it's not something that, well, that happened to you years ago, you got to get over that. No, slander is an ongoing attack.
Like, I don't know what slander is. Like, it hasn't happened to me at your hands, on purpose, planned and carried out, executed at your direction. There's no way that the people in your life who actually know you or claim to know you know about this. There's no way you've told everyone the actual truth. You get on here and you lie all the time. How could anybody believe anything you say about anything? I never have. All I've ever done to you, Gabby, is tell the truth. And when you've continued to try to lie, when you've continued to try to ruin my relationships with other people, when you have literally tried to ruin my actual livelihood, and you say you're doing all of it because I've tried to ruin your livelihood, or you say that people have slandered you and come after you and tried to ruin your career. Yep, because Gabby, we all know that your career is comparable to mine, right? We all know that our careers are the same, right, Gabby? We all know that me, a registered nurse of over 30 years who has a master's degree in healthcare education and has to hold a license, we all know that is exactly the same as you, who gets online and acts like a complete fucking goddamn idiot. Everything is your fault. All of this is your fault. For years and years and years, you can't let it go. You want to rewrite history. You want the history to be different than what it was. You want the past to be erased, not only erased, but changed. You can't let it go because you know what you've done and said. And I think that you think if you just keep coming out and talking about it, people will eventually give up or shut up or just stop talking about it or forget about it or whatever. I'm not going to do that. I've told you that from day one. I'm not going to do that. There's no planet that will happen on. Your little Jesus shtick does not work with me. You are no different than an inmate who has nowhere else to turn but to Jesus. You should call your band, instead of "and the front men," you should call it "and the yes men." Because so far we had Peyton sitting there nodding his head and drooling on himself, agreeing to everything that you said and did, not only in front of the screen, but behind it apparently. And now we have Ken, your husband, who you don't allow to get a word in, who just sits there and nods his head and drools on himself. It's so sad. You talk all about heaven and how God doesn't want this person in their house. God doesn't want that person in their house.
Because hell is real. Heaven is real. Religion is a mess, but there are realities to the spiritual world, and one of them is our soul continues on, and there's a destination. And this earth is where we get to make the choice. Do we want to spend eternity in God's house, in God's presence? Because he has boundaries. He has rules. And if you're somebody who likes to lie or be mean or treat each other disrespectfully in any way, then he doesn't want you in his house.
Apparently, you're the type of person he wants in the house. I don't want to live in that house.
Mind you, she was at that time actively calling Jessi Smiles her abuser. Gabby, I don't want bad for you. I don't want good for you. I don't want, what I want for you is for you to not be online ever again. I think you've lost that privilege. I don't think you deserve a following. I think you should go do whatever the fuck you want to do in wherever the fuck you are and shut the fuck up.
You talk about Bible verses all the time. Let me read some to you, Gabby, and excuse me, I don't know them by heart. Matthew chapter 6, verses 5 through 6. When you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, because they love to pray standing in synagogues and on street corners to be seen by people. Truly, I tell you, they have their reward. But when you pray, go into your private room, shut your door, and pray to your Father who is in secret. If you read the Bible, you should know that one. Here's another one you might like. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16 through 19. There are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. Next, Matthew chapter 23, verse 27. What sorrow awaits you, teachers of religious laws, and you Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like the whitewashed tombs, beautiful on the outside, but filled on the inside with dead people's bones and all sorts of impurity. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 30. A tranquil heart gives life to the flesh, but envy makes the bones rot. Timothy chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. If someone does not know how to manage his own household, how will he know how to take care of God's church? He must not be a recent convert, or he may become puffed up with conceit and fall into the condemnation of the devil, where you fucking belong. I would be remiss if I didn't mention this one. I have never done anything wrong. Everything that has happened has always been someone else's fault. Gabrielle Kroner Christ, chapter 6, verse 7. Gabby, it's time to go away and stay there. As a collective, we are fucking sick and tired of you. You're a liar. You're a manipulator like I always said you are. There's no coming back from this, Gabby. Why should anybody believe anything you say? Every time shit like this happens, I'm like, this is the last time I'm gonna talk about Gabby. I really want to be done with you, but please go away. No wonder the church doesn't want to work with you. No wonder nobody wants to work with you, Gabby. You're a terrible fucking person. So I'm gonna go about my business, back to my job as a nurse, where I am sure as a hospice nurse, I lead more people to Jesus or Buddha or whoever the fuck than you do on a daily basis, Gabby. Go away. We are so done with you, Gabby. You'll never come back from this, Gabby. And you deserve that. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. I want you to go be so happy like you say you are. Go do that. Bye.
I mean, what else can I say? Very great video from Jen and good video from HelloLeesh. Please go show them some support, because this is just absolutely fucking insane. And it's so crazy that she has the proof. Like, I know it says in the title, I have proof, but I wasn't expecting, though, like, the videos to the fan. That was insane. Oh my God. That was so much to process. Holy fuck. Fuck you, Gabbie Hanna. And also, kind of fuck you, Alyssa Perrine, because like if you're not going to take accountability and you're like doubling down on a lot of this shit, fuck you. Like what the hell? Anyways, Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck? Seriously, Gabbie Hanna? Get some fucking help. That is crazy. Or Gabby Kroner Christ, whatever the fuck you want to be called, bitch. Get some fucking help. Therapy or something. I know narcissists can be treated. Good luck.